Good evening. I'd like to call the City of West Bend Licensing Board for Monday, May 7th, 2018 to order and recognize that we do have a quorum tonight. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number one tonight is approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on April 16th, 2018.
Motion approved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Raj, hold tight 1 second. We're on licensing board.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You'll get all kinds of time to make motions. Item number two is the original Class B combination license for CRG and Sons 4 LLC, Moonlighting, 326 Commerce Street.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number three is an operator's license for Garrett Semerow, and we have a presentation tonight, I think. Sergeant, there he is. Sergeant Brian Scheringer, good evening.
Good evening. Based on an investigation conducted by the police department, we recommend denial of the operator's license. Based upon 4 convictions that Mr. Semerow has. First one was back in 2013, where he was issued a citation for underage alcohol violation. He was found guilty in court and paid that fine. During that incident, he lied to the initial investigating officers as to his identity, and his PBT rating that evening was .25. The second incident was in October 2014. Mr. Semerow was at a underage drinking party that officers were called to for a loud noise. A PBT at .259. He was issued a citation for underage drinking and also issued a citation for possession of marijuana. And he was found guilty on both of those charges as well. In March of 2015, Mr. Semerow was observed by an officer walking down the street carrying a beer. He lied about his identity to the officers that evening as well. He was issued a citation for underage alcohol consumption and public intoxication. And in June of 2015, he was issued a citation for public intoxication. Officers responded to a resident, female returned home and found Mr. Semerow in her residence. He was PBT that evening at .22.
Thank you. Is Mr. Semerow here tonight? No? Ian, I think you've got a couple of updates to the code, or is it state law change?
State law change. So, and this covers both the licensing board and also a common council when a denial comes up. They've changed the process and what we can consider slightly for denials. They've removed juvenile and pending charges from consideration. So there won't be any more closed sessions for denials of licenses. They've also put into place specific criteria where we have to adopt findings that say why we're denying the license, so that there's a documentation of what specific criteria we're denying the license for. And then the person who's denied has the opportunity to come back and provide some proof of rehabilitation or whatever else as to why the license should still be granted. So with these, what I'm just suggesting is that instead of moving to deny, we move to deny and adopt the police background check as findings. That way we're adopting the police reports or the background check as the findings, documenting why we're denying the license. So I would suggest the motion just be move to deny and adopt the police report as findings.
Thanks, Ian. Any questions for Ian or the sergeant from the licensing board? Thank you. I would entertain a motion on the item.
Motion to deny with the police report as findings.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 4 is a temporary Class B beer and wine license for the West Bend Friends of Park and Recreation for Regner Park Beer Garden being held at Regner Park Pavilion area Friday, June 15th, 2018 from 4 p.m. through 10 p.m. and Saturday, June 16th, 2018 from 4 p.m. through 10 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? That motion carries. Justice, we're in license, you got it. Item number 5 is a temporary Class B beer license for West Bend Friends of Park and Recreation for Regner Fest being held at Regner Park Pavilion area Saturday, July 14th, 2018 from 10 a.m. through 11 p.m.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 6 is a temporary Class B beer license for West Bend Friends of Park and Recreation for German Night being held at Regner Park Pavilion area Wednesday, July 18th, 2018.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Stephanie, thanks for changing how we go about all these licenses. I think it's going to save lots of
You're
talking,
welcome.
lumping them together. So item number 7 is approval of operators licenses with the list of the next several items are all in our packets.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 8 is massage establishment license renewals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 9 is secondhand jewelry dealer license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 10 is secondhand article dealer license renewals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 11 is coin and precious metals or stone dealers license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 12 is tattoo and body piercing establishment license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 13 is Class B beer license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 14 is a Class B reserve combination license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 15 is a Class B combination license renewals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 16 is Class A beer, Class A liquor, cider only license renewals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. 3 more, everybody. Then we're done. Item 17 is Class A combination license renewals.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 18 is Class B beer, Class C wine license renewal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. And Steve, if you could handle item 19, as I'll abstain from voting on that.
Item 19, Class B Reserve Combination License Renewal for West Bend Hotel Associates, LLC, Hampton Inn, 1975 South 18th Avenue.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed by the same side? Motion carries.
Thanks, Steve. Being no further business before the licensing board, I adjourn.
All right, I'd like to call to order the Board of Public Works. We have 4 items on the agenda. First, the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed? Motion passes, carries. Let's see what we have here. So the first is the preliminary resolution for the levying of special assessments for reconstruction of 18th Avenue from Volk Drive to Decore Road, with a presentation by Max Marshall.
Good evening, thank you. Tonight we come to you with a resolution
for preliminary intent to assess for the reconstruction of 18th Avenue. Every time we have a project where assessment might be sent to properties, we first come to council for that resolution of intent to assess, and then once council approve that resolution, then we would go ahead and prepare all the documents with the assessment numbers, the properties that are involved, and come back for the public hearing after the project is completed and all the numbers are in order to have that public hearing and the final resolution on what is actually assessed, the numbers, and the payment plans, if any. In this case, we had a lot of inquiry from the property owners, so we tried to provide some preliminary numbers with what we have right now as far as bid numbers and estimates for street light works, etc. The reconstruction of 18th Avenue includes clearing and grubbing, grading, storm sewer installed because we're going from a rural cross-section to an urban cross-section with curb and gutter and storm sewer, installation of sidewalk, and restoration of the grass areas. At this point, we're coming to you with this resolution with the list of the properties that we believe would be benefited by these improvements, and recommend approval of the attached resolution. I'll take any questions you have.
I did get a couple from a constituent that hopefully you could answer right now. On page 8, item 3C, just to shed some light on these two subjects, they want more specifics on what are the special benefits conferred on such properties by the reconstruction of 18th Avenue and what that would be.
The benefits, so we have a list that we usually prepare depending on the type of improvement. At the time of the report, I did receive that question, and I did put together a list of improvements that we see usually for road reconstruction. Installing the curb and gutter and improving the surface drainage would result in an improved roadway and decreased maintenance of the roadway. We have improved pedestrian and bicycle access to the properties. The availability to a wider road will improve emergency vehicle access to those properties, as well as traffic on the road. And then we would have improved safety with all these roads improvements, including street lights along the project.
Okay, and then the other one that would like a little more information was a statement that each parcel against which an assessment is proposed has been inspected and is benefited, setting forth the basis of the benefit. But I feel like that just kind of answered it.
Yes.
So that's all I had for questions. Anyone else? Otherwise, we would just entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
A second?
I've got one. Could you just, Max, explain the process from here? There's obviously a significant number of folks that have
Yes.
some interest in this. What happens going forward, and this doesn't actually institute an assessment, but at some point,
No, it
if this
doesn't.
continues on at will, so if you can just tell us what goes on so the folks know what
So
what to expect.
tonight, what we're finding out is whether council is considering that the city should assess for those improvements. So if council doesn't approve the resolution tonight and say we will not assess for the project, then that's it, my work is done. If council approves the resolution, then at this point, like I said, we go ahead, we build the project, and we collect the numbers, because the numbers that we have right now are obviously, the contractor's bid and the estimates. So in the end, we will have a final number once we make final payments. And then at that point, we'll take this final payment, and then we calculate the assessment for each property and the items that they were assessed for, whether it be curb and gutter, sidewalk, street lights, etc. And all that will be featured in the report that I would bring to you. And then there will be a public hearing where obviously the public, the residents in the area, will be able to come up and say their piece. I'm sure that prior to that, probably we'll have communications as well. And then at that point, council makes the decision whether we pursue the assessment with the report as is, meaning we'll assess each property for the numbers in the report, or council decides, for example, we're not assessing for streetlight, but we're assessing for everything else. And then at that point, council will also decide if we're offering payment plans to property owners. In the past, we've done 5-year plans with an interest rate 1% above the city borrowing rates that year. And then I believe those are the decisions that council will make at that point. And then at that time is when there is a decision cementing the special assessment.
Thank you. One other comment that may take a little while to explain also, can you go back in time a bit, considering I don't think any of us were on the council. I know I wasn't when this went into play. What's the history? What's the history with this? How did it get to the point that these chosen lots are lucky enough to be part of an assessment geography?
With this specific project, basically when we do road reconstruction, then it's obviously that the abutting properties are the ones with the new access, the improved access, the improvement for the roads are affected. So those are the properties that are looked at for special assessment for benefiting from the improvements. There is a subdivision involved where at the time that the subdivision was developed or was about to get developed, the developer, I believe, was faced with 4 choices. One being just build 18th Avenue to our standards alongside the property, alongside the whole plat of the subdivision, or I guess sign a check to the city for the amount that we think that the road would have been built, or else wait until 18th Avenue was rebuilt before developing the subdivision, or finally, which is the choice the developer went with, basically saying, let me build this subdivision and then you can assess my entire property for the cost, meaning everybody who's buying a parcel from me from this point on will get to be assessed. And that was the agreement that was signed with the city at that point.
Thank you. I just wanted council to know that there's some history to that, and it's history that we didn't necessarily write, and I think the neighborhood's probably pretty up to speed on that history as well, whether you agree with it or not. I think will be foreseen as the process goes forward. But I just, again, wanted to make sure that council understands that there's some history to this. It wasn't just Max waving a magic wand and saying we're going to assess these fine folks for the road. That was all I've got.
Yeah, Mike?
I don't know if maybe Ian can speak to this. We've done our diligence then to understand the contracts with the homeowners in this area, and this is what's understood.
I mean, the developer's agreement was reviewed at the time that it was executed. I reviewed it. It is slightly, I mean, it's a little out of the ordinary because the council president signed it, but that's not unusual. I mean, if there's a conflict, if the mayor has a conflict, the council president signs on his behalf. Otherwise, it's valid. We do have to still, even though the developer's agreement waives it, we still need to provide notice to all the property owners. But it clearly was a situation that the developer chose that rather than put the money in at that time and then just bump up the price of the lots to pass the assessment along. It was also, the developer's agreement was recorded against all the properties. So it would have been, it should have shown up on the title report. I mean, the title company would be responsible for catching that and disclosing that on the title report, saying it's a exception to the title policy.
Okay. Also, do we have any indication what this might mean for property values moving forward? Would this potentially lead to higher assessments? Is that fair to assume?
You'd have to ask, I'm not sure if it would change the assessment at all. I mean, you'd have to ask the assessor's office about that. I don't know about the valuation of the properties or if it would change it. I mean, I don't think it would hurt it because it's better roads
Certainly.
adjacent to the properties, so.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We do have a motion. John?
Max, I know that the businesses on Paradise Drive are probably going to be the people that are going to be definitely gaining an advantage with 18th Avenue being rebuilt. Is there any reason none of Paradise Drive was on the list?
Well, the typical process with assessment in road reconstruction is assessment by frontage of lot abutting the project. Assessment that are made by area and that reach properties that are further away are usually utility assessments, such as waterman or more commonly sanitary sewer, because if you're building an interceptor, then you're looking at service area, and then you would catch properties that are not immediately adjacent to the project. But the accepted standard in the industry for road assessment is to do it by frontage.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? We do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, you have a motion. The motion and a second. All I have to do is call the vote.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have permission to award professional design and engineering services contract for downtown Riverwalk reconstruction for the west side. I believe this is Cindy.
Good evening. Thank you. Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Department, along with staff from there, and 3 members of the Milwaukee Riverwalk Revitalization Advisory Committee reviewed the responses to the proposals. Excuse me. And we also interviewed all the design firms, so we took a lot of time to look through everything very thoroughly. Based on the proposals, the interviews, the references, and all of the information they gave us, the recommendation is to award to SCH, Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson. They have lots of experience doing urban river walks. They have excuse me, a hydrologist on board who is very familiar with floodplains. They have a ex-DNR staff member on their committee, or on their group, that's really familiar with reviewing the water regs proposals and things. So we're hoping that that will help give us the walkway under the bridge push up for that. And they also have a local connection. They have one of their team members lives in Kewaskum, and he's donating his time to the project. So the recommendation is to award the project to them for $266,700. Any questions?
Motion approved?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion first.
Discussion?
Sorry. Cindy, can you just go a little bit more in detail? I just have a hard time. I know it's 30,000 difference, but you picked the most expensive bid out of the 4. So I get it, urban river walks, they have experience with that, hydrologists. I mean, was it just that much of a difference with the other 3 that they just didn't meet the criteria, or?
Yeah, the one that was the lowest cost, they had no experience with urban river walks at all. So they were kind of like, we didn't want to be a guinea pig for that company. The other ones did have some experience, but we've had, MSA, as you know, did the east side of the Riverwalk, and we've had a little bit of issues with them. So we were hesitant to go with them again. Ayers has a lot of experience doing urban river walks, but part of what we were concerned about was that they were exclusionary in a lot of the scope of work that we were wanting them to do. It's like, this is excluded from the contract, this is excluded from the contract. So our concern was that as you end up picking and choosing, you're going to have to add things as you go along, unless you could write a contract that didn't leave anything out. And typically you say, we want this to be complete. So, and that was what SEH gave us. So that was kind of the unanimous push to do them.
Thanks for the clarification.
Sure.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And the last item is permission to award Regner Park Tennis Court resurfacing project. Cindy, you got the floor again.
Okay. We did get 3 bids back for this on April 20th. Munson is the lowest bid. They're very qualified to do the project. They've had a lot of experience with this, and the bid for that project from them was $26,159. Includes crack filling, resurfacing the courts, and striping for pickleball and tennis court. So we recommend awarding it to Munson.
Craig?
How critical is it that authorization is given now, just in light of some of the other Regner Park area discussions we're having? Is it possible to wait 30 or 60 days on this? Just to see if, I would hate for some other Regner Park stuff to maybe interfere with a newly crack-sealed tennis court?
Oh, they're not going to start this project until the middle of August, when everything else is finished out there. Actually, I did get an email from them this week asking, or last week asking, when we were going to award this, because they need to get it on the schedule. So I told them we were coming tonight to award this. There's money from carryover from last year from Quas Creek.
Right.
So we're going to use some of that plus the capital funds.
I'm not questioning the use of the money or the need for it. I'm
Yeah.
just saying if there's some changes, I think if we wait 30 or 60 days, we may have some clarification. And if we're waiting until the end of the tennis season anyways, maybe if they do it in September or October instead of August or something, it would be all right.
Well, yeah, we can do that. We can wait. We've got like a 60-day window to award the bid. The problem is you can't put that surfacing down unless the temperature is pretty warm. So if we wait till October, they may not be able to do it this fall, because you need like 70-degree days to do this. So we can wait to award it, but not for really long.
Good. I would suggest that. And the Public Works Committee can do what they like, but there may be some reasons to give us a little window to see other things that may take place in Regner.
Yeah, thanks for the information. I know what you're talking about. And so the question, I guess, is what, if we have a 60-day window on that, I don't remember when it started, when the bids came in.
When the bids come in.
They came in on April 20th?
Yeah.
So we have a little time. The question is, could we, by either in 2 weeks or the first week of June is probably the last time we would be able to move forward.
I think that seems reasonable if we pencil it in for the first meeting in June. That seems reasonable.
Do you think that'll be okay with, we'll talk to the contractor, but
I can tell them that we're going to wait. They have to hold.
Hey,
it that
they can
long.
go start all they want. We just have to
They have to
authorize
hold their
the
bids
spending
that
of the
long
money.
anyway, so.
Right?
okay. I just don't want to leave it linger until July or August. So if we
And
can-
that's not my intent. I just
Right.
want to make
So
sure.
if we find
we're
out
not-
some information next couple of weeks, that'd be perfect.
Perfect. Thanks, guys. So Public Works Committee would be so inclined, we can just table this until
Yeah.
the June meeting.
I would make a motion to table this until the first meeting in June. Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. And I adjourn the Public Works.
Thanks, Andrew. Let's call the Finance Committee for May 7th, 2018 to order. We have 10 items on the agenda. Item number 1 is the approval of the minutes of April 16th, 2018.
Motion approved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. That motion carries. Item number 2 is the approve the 2018 West Bend Dispatcher and Clerical Association Local 503 contract. And we have a memo from Michelle Hoey. I think everybody's had a chance to read that through the from the agenda. Are there any questions for Michelle at all? No? All right, I would entertain a motion then.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign. That motion carries. Item number 3 is a resolution to accept donations to the Park, Rec, and Forestry Department with a presentation by Craig Hepner. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening. We have another long and great list of donations. We want to thank the following businesses, organizations, and individuals for their support. First one is $25,000 donated by Meyer. It'll be actually going towards the Riverwalk East project, and we thank them for their large donation towards that project. The second one is $400 donated by Kane & Kane Jewelers for sponsorship of the 2018 movie night in the park. The next one is $300 donated by Bob's Main Street Auto and Towing also for the sponsorship of the 2018 movie night in the park. Next one is $1,250 donated by Meyer again. This is for the 2018 Dirty Ninja Mud Run for Kids event. Next one is $150 donated by the West Bend Disc Golf Club for Riverside Park Disc Golf Course. The next one is $500 donated by Kohler Credit Union for sponsorship of the July 4th Sandcastle building event that will be held at the Regner Beach. Next one is $2,000 donated also by Kohler Credit Union for sponsorship of the Youth Softball League. And finally, $2,500 donated by the West Bend Community Foundation's West Bend Mutual Insurance Company Charitable Fund for the Dirty Ninja Mud Run for Kids. So thanks again for all the support of all those organizations and businesses.
Absolutely. I echo the thanks to all those organizations. Any questions for Craig? Otherwise, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? That motion carries. Item number 4 is a resolution for appropriation of downtown Riverwalk donations on the west side. Again, Craig Hepner.
So as we're moving forward with now for planning and design of the west side of the Riverwalk, something we did on the east side is to automatically appropriate from a revenue account for Riverwalk donations for the west side, that they'd be then appropriated to the corresponding capital expense account, which is called Riverwalk West NB for non-borrow. So this will take care of any future donations for the Riverwalk would be automatically appropriated.
All right. Any comments for Craig?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? That motion carries. Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing the transfer of park funds for downtown Riverwalk project. Again, Craig Hepner.
The final item for us, we're transferring $25,000 from our PARC fund, which is Park and Recreation Capital, to an expense account for the downtown Riverwalk revitalization project, and this was the $25,000 donation from Meyer. So it was placed in a certain account, and now will be appropriated to be used for the east side Riverwalk.
Excellent. Again, any questions or comments for Craig?
Motion approved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? That motion carries. I would like to recess the Finance Committee to Common Council.
Thanks, Rich. I'd like to call the City of West Bend Common Council for Monday, May 7th, 2018 to order and recognize that we do have all 8 aldermen here in attendance tonight. First 3 items are proclamations this evening. Item number 1 is Roots and Branches Plant Sale and Adopt a Plot Days proclamation, and it reads, whereas Roots and Branches believes in growing a beautiful community today and planting seeds of pride and stewardship to improve the natural environment of West Bend tomorrow. And whereas our community continues to be committed in preserving and improving the beauty of our neighborhoods by planting flowers, trees, and shrubs within the city. And whereas Roots and Branches will be holding its annual plant sale at the West Bend City Hall employee parking lot on Friday, May 18th and Saturday, May 19th. In addition, Roots and Branches will provide the flowers and other necessary materials for the Adopt a Plot program, with volunteers providing the labor necessary to plant and tend. And now therefore I, Craig K. Sadonico, Mayor of the City of West Bend, do hereby proclaim May 18th and 19th, 2018 as Roots and Branches Plant Sale and Adopt a Plot Days in the City of West Bend, and I encourage all citizens to support and participate in these programs, helping to make our community a beautiful place in which to live. Thank you to Roots and Branches. And number 2 is our annual International Migratory Bird Day proclamation. And it reads, whereas migratory birds are some of the most beautiful and easily observed wildlife that share our community. These birds and their habitats are declining throughout the Americas, facing a growing number of threats on their migration routes and in both their summer and winter homes. And whereas International Migratory Bird Day has become a primary vehicle for focusing public attention on nearly 350 species that travel between nesting habitats in our communities and throughout the Americas. And whereas International Migratory Bird Day is a day to foster appreciation for wild birds while supporting and celebrating migratory bird conservation. Now therefore I, Craig K. Sadonic, Mayor of the City of West Bend, do hereby proclaim Saturday, May 12th, 2018 as International Migratory Bird Day in the City of West Bend, and I urge all citizens to celebrate this observance and to support efforts to protect and conserve migratory birds and their habitats in our community and the world at large. May 12th, my birthday also, so you guys can celebrate two things that day. And proclamation number 3 is a Police Week proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President John F. Kennedy signed the first proclamation recognizing May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and the week in which it falls as National Police Week. And whereas police officers throughout our community are dedicated to protecting and serving our neighborhoods, schools, and families, and embody the courage and honor that represents the best of America. And whereas our citizens value the courage and devotion with which our law enforcement officers maintain peace and security. Whereas on Peace Officers Memorial Day and during Police Week, we express our gratitude for the selfless public servants who wear the badge and put themselves in harm's way to keep us safe. And we pay respect for those who lost their lives in the line of duty. Now therefore I, Craig K. Sadonico, Mayor of the City of West Bend, do hereby recognize May 13th through the 19th, 2018 as Police Week in the City of West Bend. And I encourage all citizens to recognize and honor the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers in our community and in communities across the nation by flying their flags at half-staff in honor of all fallen officers. Thanks to the police folks for all that they do. Moving ahead to item 4, approval of minutes of the regular meeting of April 16th, 2018.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions, comments, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 5 is Common Council, approval of the minutes of the Common Council organizational meeting, April 17th, 2018.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Stephanie? Hey, Stephanie, on the consent agenda, are we taking items 6 through 28 all at once? Nice. The consent agenda, items 6 through 28.
Motion approved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Steve, could you handle item number 29, please? It's the same hotel item that I'll abstain from.
Item 29, Class B Reserve Combination License Renewal for West Bend Hotel Associates, LLC, Hampton Inn, 1975 South 18th Avenue.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same side? Motion carries.
Thanks, Steve. Item 30 is operator's license for Garrett Semerau.
Motion to deny.
Second.
Just a note to deny and adopt the police report as findings.
Motion to deny and adopt the police report to company.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is Mr. Semerau in the audience now, by chance? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 31 is approval of the mayoral appointment of Alderman Hoogaster to the Deer Management Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, Steve. Item 32 is approve the mayoral appointment of Alderman Hoogaster and Michael Chevalier to the Park and Rec Commission.
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 33 is an informational update on the Emerald Ash Borer EAB response plan, and we have a presentation tonight by Mike Yench of the Park Rec and Forestry Department. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, and thank you. We are going to make this a very quick update because your agenda is obviously very lengthy this evening. So we've been asked just to give a quick update on kind of where we've been, where we are at, and where we are going in reference to EAB. If you guys don't mind, I'll just skip the Emerald Ash Borer and just stick with the whole EAB. Pre-EAB in West Bend, our department annually removed 125 to 150 street trees every year. That would be the trees and the stumps. EAB was first found in West Bend in June of 2010. At that point in time, our cost estimates to respond to emerald ash borer was $2.7 million. We weren't looking at budgeting an additional $2.7 million. Obviously, we're going to try and absorb some of that work in-house. So the removals themselves were absorbed internally, and the stump removals also were absorbed internally. We did receive additional funding the last several years for materials for stump grinding, topsoils, grass seed, things like that. The replanting, we did contract that work out. We have been, every year we bring that contract to the council. Again, we can't absorb $2.7 million impact internally. We had to, outsource some of that work. When EAB first hit West Bend, we were looking at 3,200 ash trees along the street. Those trees are now gone except for a handful that several residents are trying to treat and save those trees themselves. Since 2010, we have removed 1,900 street tree stumps. We still have 1,200 remaining. We'll give more detailed information on that shortly. Also, we removed 400 plus park and public property trees and turf areas, the trees and the stumps. Actually, this week we're still in the process of removing some of those stumps. And also during that time period over the last 8 years, we have replanted 1,400 trees. That is a pretty good number. Some of the, we don't instantly replace a tree we cut down. We leave it up to the residents if they want a replacement or not. So 1,400 trees, that's a pretty good number. And every year, Cindy's been bringing the contract forward. We're doing another 350, 380 every year. That's a good number. To try and replace all of those trees that quick, there's not enough nurseries in the state of Wisconsin to do that. So that's a good number. We're at a steady rate. If we keep going the way we are, that should be a pretty good number. Wood utilization throughout the years, we've been working with Habitat for Humanity. Also, the logs that Habitat hasn't used to process into usable lumber, we've been selling those. Little revenue source of $21,000. That money goes right back into the replanting program. It's been very, very successful. Also, the wood chips we are using in parks, and they are being used by local farmers as bedding. So all of our wood material, the logs, the stump grindings, the wood chips, everything's getting used. Nothing's getting wasted. Nothing's going into a hole in the ground. Everything is getting used, which is pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Where are we at now? Right now, we're continuing planting our street trees. We are also, we have a new program. It's called the Restore Park Tree Initiative. We have some really cool supporters out there. The Friends of Parks, the Sunrise Rotary, Microsoft, and Modern Woodmen have all pledged financial donations to support planting or the replanting of the parks in West Bend. The first wave of those trees will be going in this year. Just under 50 trees will be planted in parks this spring. Again, very successful. Again, continue planting of the street trees, utilizing capital funding, and also the revenues from the wood sale or the log sale. We also have trees in woodlots that we have to remove. We're not going to go out and clear all the woodlot, every dead tree in every woodlot the city owns. The trees that are along the fringes, maybe in the backyards of private properties, that those trees could fail and damage someone's property. So we need to get those removed so we don't have any more, so we don't have any issues. So right now, the big question Roger Kist asked us to research a little bit was the stumps that we have. Right now we have 1,200 ash street tree stumps. Annually, we are adding to that number by 50 to 100 non-ash street tree stumps. Maple trees die, other trees die, so that number can grow a little bit. If we continue with our current program of stump removal, utilizing staff, city equipment, we are targeting early in 2020 to have all of those stumps gone, ground, restored, and then obviously they would be eligible for planting. If we were to attempt to contract out some of this work, I contacted a local company. They do kind of urban forestry work for different municipalities, things like that. They just did a stump grinding contract for the city of Whitefish Bay. So those are the numbers. I mean, those are the most recent numbers I could get my hands on. So utilizing those numbers, we looked at the stumps in Wingate subdivision from River Road to Trenton Road. There's 132 stumps in there. We went out and measured all the stumps. We got 2,355 inches of stumps. So that's what we need is the inches of the stumps. We put that into this contract for Whitefish Bay, and it would cost us almost $24,000 just to remove those stumps. So we look at everything out there. and this is just an estimate, because we didn't go out and measure 1,200 stumps in the last 2 weeks or anything else like that. We're looking at a minimum of $213,000 plus. That number is going to go up because, again, we'd have to go out and measure everything. The stumps are, if they're going to be bigger, it's going to cost us more. So a minimum of $213,000, excuse me, to contract out this work. Also, one problem is we don't know of any contractor in the state of Wisconsin that's capable of grinding 1,200 stumps even in a 12-month time period. Normally, the contracts, like the one for Whitefish Bay, I think that's 128 stumps, because that's a good manageable number for these private companies to, conduct work like this. There's not a lot of companies out there that do it. And the thing is, too, when we do the stump grinding, if we grind a stump today, it's eligible for a tree to be planted tomorrow. Because a lot of these places, residents want their trees. They've already asked us to plant 1,400 trees. That doesn't include the 300 we're doing this year. So we need to make sure that, these are eligible planting sites. Also, if the resident might say, I don't want a tree, don't worry about grinding my stump, I'll grind it 2 inches low, throw some topsoil over it. 2 years later, they sell their house. The next resident wants a tree there. Now we don't know if that stump's gone, if it's 2 inches under the topsoil or whatever. So that's why when we grind these stumps, we grind them, we remove them. So when our tree planting contractor shows up, they're not out there grinding half remaining stumps and things like that. So when we do it so they're gone and they become viable planting sites. So with that being said, EAB is a 10-plus year process for the city of West Bend. We're 8 years into it. I would think by year 11, probably 2020, 2021, we should be done. Stumps will be gone, woodlot trees, etc. Maybe some replanting yet. So, thank you.
Nice work, Mike. That's a curveball I'm sure you don't expect. You're used to dodging some wild pitches, but one that lasts 10, 11 years is a challenge, and those are some impressive numbers. If somebody did want to remove their own stump, it's legal for them to do it. You'd prefer that they waited, but if they're on the list for 2020, and I can understand someone doesn't want a stump there, I was trying to follow your math. Is it like $10 an inch or something?
It's basically $10 an inch. And again, that's just the average. With the contract with Whitefish Bay, they do $8 an inch for a small one and $10 for so there's other variables. That's why the $213,000, that's probably on the lower end. It'll probably go up a little bit, yeah. If a resident wants a grinder stump, fine. They contact our office. I'll go over there, make sure right now, every year, if a resident wants to plant their own tree, we allow that. We have just a quick form they fill out. That way we have a copy of it and some history of it, because all of our stumps, believe it or not, are part of our street tree inventory. We just need to meet with them so they understand that they need to grind a stump. A lot of times, the ones we're doing in the parks right now, we're not going down 18, 20 inches because we're not putting a tree back. We just need to make sure the entire stump is removed and it can become a viable planting location again.
Appreciate them contacting your office. You can talk to them also at the same time about replacing a tree if they want, how far from the street, how far from the sidewalk,
Exactly.
et cetera, so that they're not having to do it twice. All right.
Yep, absolutely.
I have never received so many calls except for these stumps. I can't tell you how many people have called me and are angry, and not necessarily my connection with the city, but being at some other location where they don't know who the hell I am, they start ragging about those stumps. And somehow or other, I'm very supportive of the city. You know that, and of the parks especially. And Mike is doing a fantastic job. But these stumps are a problem, and I sure as hell wish they could take them out now. I'd be willing to support spending a good deal of money on getting them out of there, just to get people happy in the city of West Bend and not to mistreat them.
If I understand Mike's presentation, you've got about 2 years-ish left to do it with our own staff. If we speed it up and spend $200,000, it's still going to take at least a year to get that done.
Absolutely.
So it would be $200,000 that is maybe buying ourselves 12 months. So I get it, Raj. I think we've got a pretty darn good story to tell. If you look at these statistics, our city staff is mowing through some trees that they certainly wish they didn't have to do. They're in the business of planting and maintaining them. So
And those that have personally criticized me, I told them tonight's the night to watch and listen what's going to happen.
I think Mike would probably be happy, or the department would probably be happy to post this information up on a website, because it's pretty telling. And again, if it was going to take 10 years to get rid of these stumps and we could make them go away in a couple of weeks, it might be one thing. But couple $100,000 to buy ourselves maybe 12 months. That's like a
And then just speaking of communication, I was walking through Alderman Chevalier's district a few months ago, and there's just more people who were talking about this issue than in my own district. And so my question is about communication. So if a tree gets removed, we identify that. How are we letting the constituents know, and what's their process from there?
Normally, what we do with the emerald ash borer situation, when we show up in the neighborhoods, we show up in your neighborhood, all the ash trees get marked with a green dot, so it's a little bit of visual, hey, something's going on. You come home from work and 200 trees are marked with green dots, someone knows something that's going on. At each address, we put a door hanger on their front door to say, hey, your tree's being removed because of EAB. If you want it replaced, look on our website, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of planting information on that. In the past, the stump was removed the same year. It's just, we removed 900 trees in 8 weeks this winter. We can't remove all those stumps this winter. So what we've been telling the residents, when your stump is removed, apply for your new street tree. And that's just a good rule of thumb. That way they're not applying now, and we have to tell them, hey, your stump's going to be gone in 2 years, things like that. Yep. So that's just kind of a general rule of thumb that we've been trying to tell our customers.
I like the door hanger. It's better than a letter getting lost in the mail.
They do. The door hangers are nice. Sometimes, we find them blown down the street, things like that. But it's, for us, how do we get in touch with, okay, you have 100 houses in this neighborhood, we need to talk to 58 of them, or whatever the number might be. Door hangers are kind of nice. And again, the green dots are huge. Residents come home and it's a little bit of shock and awe, like, hey, I guess we're next. And a lot of residents know. They see the dots. They know we're coming.
Sounds good.
So.
Thank you.
Mike, I have two questions, I guess. One of them is regarding communication as well, like Chris was just talking about. If there does seem to be a little bit more of an issue amongst the residents about removing the stumps. So if they decide to start taking matters into their own hands and wanting to remove these stumps themselves, do we have anything in place that provides them with specifics for how the stump needs to be removed, and if there's any contract or anything that needs to be signed to ensure that they're doing it according to the standards that you have set?
We have a one-page little diagram that shows how the stump needs to be ground, how wide, how deep. It's very, very simple. All we would need, and I could probably do it tomorrow, just generate a sheet that says, give us your name, address, and a phone number. You call us. It's either going to be myself or one of the arborists showing up to say, okay, great, you want to grind your stump? These are the specifications. Go ahead and do it. Let us know when you're going to do it. Before they backfill that hole or anything else like that, I have no problem showing up to say, we need to go deeper, things like that. It's just, again, and we have no problem with it. We have residents planting trees. We have residents plant 2 or 3 trees a year. It's not a lot. But we just caution that the stump gets deep enough. And I know what people are going to say, not everyone. Well, I don't care because I'm not going to plant the tree here anyways. But again, 5 years later, they move. Someone else buys that house, they're going to want a tree. Our planting contract right now, we have no additional money in there for, if you hit an old stump, we'll pay a contractor to grind it out. That contract states that those stumps are gone and they're free to plant. So that's just the only caution here with residents. We just need to communicate to them, just say, hey, not a problem, you can do it. You want to go through the work, you bet. But we just need to get them deep enough, wide enough.
I agree. I just don't want, I want to make sure that we're cutting off any future problems by residents potentially half doing the job or not doing it to specifications that we would need for future possibilities.
Yep, and I like to talk to, like I said, 2 or 3 residents a year plant their own trees. We like to talk to them, just to remind them too, call in Diggers Hotline. I can tell you right now, we grind over gas lines and things every day when we're out there, and it's not a lot of fun, and I just want them to understand, don't skip that step, okay? I mean, it's not fun.
Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Thanks again, Mike.
Thank you.
Item number 34 is a resolution approving a certified survey map for a 40-foot wide street right-of-way dedication for Scenic Drive West and right-of-way for West Washington Street. And a presentation tonight by Business and Development Director Mark Petrovich. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening. It's a relatively simple certified survey map. The Davenport family owns property on the southwest corner of West Washington Street and Scenic Drive West. The CSM creates one development parcel. This is the sale parcel that they're intending to transfer for Maurice Honda to develop on that location. The CSM is before you because it also dedicates right-of-way for both Washington Street and Scenic Drive West. We would request that you approve the CSM and adopt the resolution accepting that dedication.
Thanks, Mark. Any questions for Mark?
Mark, is it Scenic West or Scenic East?
It's Scenic Drive West.
Any other questions for Mark? I would entertain a motion on the item.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item number 35 is an ordinance amending Chapter 12.02, Parent 3, Parent M of the Municipal Code regarding license fee for wine-only wineries. And who's handling this one, Jay? Is it Stephanie or is it Ian?
So we have in our code a specific type of license for wineries. There was no license fee, so this is just establishing a license fee for that. We have not had an applicant for that type of license before, and we anticipate one coming in.
Gotcha. Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? That motion carries. Item 36 is a resolution establishing nuisance deer abatement program within the city of West Bend. I believe we have a presentation by Alderman Butchlake.
Yes. The committee had a meeting just a couple weeks ago, and we had Dwayne give us a complete update on sharpshooting, which was a big question. And the big thing that came across to the committee was we want to make sure that everybody out there understands that this is not a recreational hunt, archery hunt, or sharpshooting hunt. It is called a abatement program that we are looking at using professional people to run these programs. And right now, Dwayne has got a presentation on exactly what we have found out is going to work the best for the city of West Bend as far as sharpshooting. It's going to be a lot better program, more aggressive program than we did when we had the archery abatement program. So I'll let Dwayne fill you in on the information he's collected.
Good evening. I was asked to do some research on what the cost factor is to abate nuisance deer with the use of sharpshooters. There's many communities around the area that, as you see in the newspaper, utilizing the sharpshooter program. I've contacted several of the private businesses that do the abatement sharpshooting, and the average cost for them to come in is roughly $400 and in excess per deer to abate. Again, there's a lot involved in the abatement process. It's not just go sit in the woods and wait for it to come out. There's a lot of preparation, planning. $400 seemed a lot for a single deer. So I did some more research, and I found that the U.S. government actually has an organization through the Department, the U.S. Agriculture, that have their own abatement program team that will actually come out and provide sharpshooters. They are not for profit. They only charge their costs. So roughly, in our discussions, we're looking to eradicate approximately 60 deer from 2 parks. And we were able to get it down to about $150 per deer, utilizing the USDA sharpshooting unit. The individuals are professional shooters. They're certified through the Department of Agriculture, through the U.S. government. They're trained regularly. In fact, I apologize, Their head of the organization, Chip Lavelle, was going to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he's in Guam, training some of the personnel in Guam. Chip is also one of the USDA biologists that service our airport here in West Bend in regards to abatement of nuisance animals. And I'm not sure if he's been here in front of the council, but Chip and I walked both of those parks extensively. He agreed that he believed there was a nuisance problem with the deer. We basically have gone over some of the numbers. In all of the programs, they were all able to reduce their numbers per cost per deer with the city's involvement. The committee has taken a stance that we want to have them come in, whatever we decide in regards to having them run their program for, to maximize the success rate after the archery abatement program, where we saw that we only took 3 deer out of 1 park. At this point, the committee believes that the most effective way is to have the sharpshooters come in and abate our issue. Again, we're looking at 30 deer per park. Does anybody have any questions on what they do, when they do it, and?
Any questions for Dwayne?
Yeah, did you get a price on what their cost is?
Right, the high end of their cost is $9,000. We also can apply for a grant through the state for abatement, which is a $5,000 grant. It's matching funds. But again, if the city provides services for the program, that cost goes down. Things like baiting the stations, removing the carcasses and things like that.
So we can share some of that preparation?
We could, yes.
Mike?
Dwayne, is there any conversation or discussion about the future, the problem going forward? What's a 5-year plan? What's a 10-year plan? This isn't just a one-time deal, I'm guessing.
Well, what we discussed was to have sharpshooters come in at least once, determine if the success rate and bring us to a manageable number in each of those parks. If not, we can always have the archery abatement program in January to whatever success that would provide us if there's additional numbers that need to be abated. But our discussions were, if it's successful in these 2 parks, this is something that we would look to begin to migrate to other parks. The shooting of these deer occurs at night. They go in with suppressed firearms, rifles, and night vision. They have a spotter for safety. The benefit is we don't have to close the parks. The parks are closed at night after 11 p.m. They're in at around 1 o'clock in the morning. When it's cold out, when the foliage has started coming off the trees, they prefer to have snow on the ground to maximize their shooting of these animals. Kohler is one of the areas closer to us that has utilized them, and they were effectively taking out anywhere from 13 to 17 deer in a location a night. But again, Kohler has a significantly larger number of deer population than we do.
Thank you. Anybody else? And I entertain a motion on the resolution unless you had any follow-up, John?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up. The committee has been spending a lot of time on, I know the biggest concern is the safety. I had a meeting with Craig and Mike as far as the park department. I know that when we use the archery abatement, there is always going to be a problem with closing down parks for a long period of time, and it affects their revenue. By using the sharpshooters, it will not affect any part of their revenue coming in the park systems. And in their opinion, the sharpshooting would be the best solution to prevent any type of closing parks and that. So the committee felt that this was the best solution right now that we can come up with, and the safest, exactly the safest.
Thanks, John.
So are you not going to do the combination then? You talked about that at the prior meeting, I believe.
No, we're not going to do the combination. We are going to just go with the sharpshooting, get a good handle on what's going to happen with the sharpshooting, and if it is a huge success, we will come back next year and look at possibility of maybe going to some other parks, because obviously what's going to happen is the deer are going to migrate to other parks, and we're going to have the same problem there. So if we can move around, and then after 5 years or after 4 years, if we feel that the archery abatement program would be sufficient to just maintain those numbers at a low number, what the parks are, like Lac Lorraine is only supposed to have 5 deer in that park. That is what the DNR recommends. They got anywhere between 25 and 30 deer. So once we get those numbers down to what we are supposed to have in these parks, then we can come back and look at other alternatives.
Sure. Great. Thanks, John.
I would entertain a motion on the resolution unless there's any other comments.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 And we have a roll call vote, please, Stephanie.
Alderman Butchlick?
Aye.
Alderman Christian?
No.
Alderman Chevalier?
Aye.
Alderman Jenkins?
Aye.
Alderman Caston?
Aye.
Alderman Hoogaster?
Aye.
Alderman Willikat? Sorry. Alderman Maddle?
Aye.
Alderman Kist?
Nay.
Motion carries 6-2.
Thanks, Stephanie. At this time, I'd like to recess the Common Council back to Finance. Rich?
Thanks, Mayor. The next 3 items are going to be closed session, so I will just take them in direct order here. Item number 6 is entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to state statutes, section 19.85, section 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is regards to offering the purchase of city-owned land in TIF number 12. Tax key 291.1119.132.0046.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign.
You need roll call vote?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I can see if I can screw this up. Alderman Butchlick?
Aye.
Alderman Christian?
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier?
Aye.
Alderman Jenkins?
Aye.
Alderman Caston?
Aye.
Alderman Hoogaster?
Aye.
Alderman Maddle?
Aye.
Alderman Kist?
Aye.
In closed session.
Next is item number 7, entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to state statutes, section 19.85, section 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever the competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is in regards to offering to purchase the city-owned land in TIF number 5, tax key 291.1119.132.0025, 291.1119.132.0026, and 291.1119.132.0192.
Make a motion to adjourn into closed session.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. You want to take a roll call vote, Stephanie?
Alderman Butchlick?
Aye.
Alderman Christian?
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier?
Aye.
Alderman Jenkins?
Aye.
Alderman Caston?
Aye.
Alderman Hoogaster?
Aye.
Alderman Maddle?
Aye.
Alderman Kist?
Aye.
And then item number 8, entertain a motion to adjourn into closed session pursuant to state statutes, section 19.85, section 1 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. This is with regards to letter of intent.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Stephanie, you want to take another roll call?
Alderman Butchlick.
Aye.
Alderman Christian.
Aye.
Alderman Chevalier.
Aye.
Alderman Jenkins.
Aye.
Alderman Caston. Alderman Hoogaster.
Aye.
Alderman Maddle.
Aye.
Alderman Kist.
Aye. All right, we are in closed session. We will be returning from closed session, so. All right, I'd like to reconvene the Finance Committee back to order. Item number 9 is a recommendation to Common Council regarding the offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 12, tax key 291.1119.132.0046. I entertain a motion on this one.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? That motion carries. Item number 10 is a recommendation to Common Council regarding offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 5, tax key 291.1119.132.0025 and 291.1119.132.0026 and 291.1119.132.0192. So I see how you helped, the mayor with those licenses, but didn't help me so much with those numbers there, Stephanie. Thanks.
Motion to approve.
Second. I seconded my own. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? That motion carries. Being no further business before the Board of Public Work, the Finance Committee, I adjourn.
Thanks, Rich. I'd like to reconvene the Common Council. And Steve, if you could handle the next 4 agenda items for me, as I will abstain.
Item number 37, decision regarding offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 12, tax key 291.1119.132.0046.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same side? Motion carries. Item number 38, resolution approving the offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 12, tax key 291.1119.132.0046.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same sign? Motion carries. Item 39, decision regarding offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 5, tax key 291.1119.132.0025, 291.119, .1119.132.0026, and 291.119.132.0192.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same side? Motion carries. Item number 40, resolution approving the offer to purchase city-owned land in TIF number 5, tax key number 291.1119.132.0025, 291.1119.132.0026, and 291.119.132.0192.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by the same side? Motion carries.
Thanks, Dave. You passed the test. Nice job. Item number 39, and under reports, is a report regarding the Park and Rec Commission meeting. Andrew, were you there, or was that kind of in the overlap between the two meetings? We'll catch up on that one next time. Item number 40 is a report by Alderman Christian regarding the downtown bid board meeting.
bid board meeting met last Monday. It was a short meeting. We had some discussion to move forward with the Commons Group that they had been interviewing. The Commons Group is a organization that works with students, college age students, to what they do is they partner them with different businesses or organizations or communities in order to help develop ideas for strategic planning and utilization of some of the items in the community. The bid board is working with them, and we've decided to move forward in negotiations with working with them, and we're looking to work with them. We've set the date of October 6th for their event. What they do is they come in to the town. They have 50 to 70 students participating, developing creative ideas. We're specifically looking for options and ideas revolving around filling empty spaces in the downtown area, wayfinding, signage, and just different opportunities that the bid might be interested in pursuing. So really neat project, and it gets people involved. We'll utilize graciously, the Art Museum has offered to donate their space to host the event. We'll be working with downtown businesses as well to help feed everybody, and it's going to be a really fun event. So we'll get all sorts of good ideas from their opportunity, and that again we're looking at October 6th for the event to occur. Go ahead.
Yes, Justice.
Thank you, Craig. Is there, I know, tell me if this is way out of line, is there any way to get Barton involved in that?
This specific one is dedicated just to the bid district in the downtown area.
Okay.
I would imagine you could negotiate or get into conversation
with the Commons Group?
With that organization.
Commons Group?
I'm sure they'd be happy to, we can certainly get you the contact information. They're looking for opportunities wherever they have them, so.
Great.
Adam Gitter would be a good resource to help you get in touch with them if you'd like to get further information.
Awesome, great, thanks, Mike.
You bet. And then we did discuss that Monday, May 21st is the big spring cleanup day as well. So anybody who's got some extra helping hands who would like to help clean up, I imagine we have some wood chips to spread and garbage and litter to pick up, and just tidying up the area a little bit. So May 21st, put the work shoes on and come on down and help out in the bid district. But that's it, May 21st. Again, contact Adam Gitter if you're interested in more information, or myself.
Thanks, Mike. Any questions for Alderman Christian? Item number 41 is a report by either Alderman Jenkins or Caston regarding the Plan Commission. Actually, probably Alderman Caston.
I would say I wasn't there, but I heard we're going to have some delicious barbecue.
There we go.
Yeah, so it was a light agenda. We did have two things. We're looking at setting a public hearing for a zoning change to mixed use over in the TIF 5 and 12 area. And then we requested a temporary use permit for a food truck at the corner of where Menards is and their parking lot, Mr. Tony's Barbecue. So looking forward to that.
Thanks, Rich. Any questions for Rich? Item number 42 is a report by either Alderman Kist or Jay regarding the Airport Commission.
We both were there, and it was a short meeting, but once again, we plan to meet every 3 months, and Jim was doing a great job coordinating things, and along with Jay. I have no concerns to bring to you.
Okay.
Not spending any of your money.
Any questions for Jay or Alderman Kist? And item number 43. Actually, we probably got most of the Deer Management Committee report already. Are we deered out?
Yep, I think pretty much what we discussed earlier. I just wanted to tell Dwayne, thank you very much for all the work and effort put into that sharpshooters. You got some great information. I think he saved the city a lot of money by doing all the research. So Dwayne, thanks a lot. Great job.
Good work, guys. Being no further business before the Common Council, I adjourn. Are there any other comments? And have a great evening, everyone. Oop. I'm sorry. We got one. We're not done yet.
Since we're going to have another meeting before this, the Law Enforcement Memorial for Washington County will be held at the Washington County Fair Park Pavilion on Thursday, May 17th at 7 p.m. It's to honor all the officers, men and women, dispatch, first responders for law enforcement that work in the county, and honor the ones that have given the ultimate sacrifice since the inception of the county. So if you can be there, it'd be very nice to show your appreciation and support for law enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody else? Now have a great evening, everyone. Good night.